Well, hello there. Well, welcome back. This is Todd in the garden, and keep thinking I'm going to be this big thing where I'm going to do a whole lot of gardening and videos and keep up with that, but I never seem to. But I wanted to get back, and then since I kind of expanded this year and did a little more things that are different than I used to, I wanted to get back here and do another video. So, gotta flip the camera around. And for 2023, I'm going back to this is some mulch. I'll get into that in a second, but I'm getting back to doing less of more things. Past couple years, I had done a lot of a few things. I only had a couple crops, 4 or 5 crops, and I did a lot of them. And this year, I'm doing more varieties of things I'm growing, but less of them, obviously. Just to get, because if one thing fails, then a whole lot of it fails. You know what I mean? So I'll get into that. I'll go in. I know this. I do want to apologize for the way the yard looks right now. The garden looks still in process of spring cleaning, and a lot of changes happening that are delaying it a little bit as well. But I will start kind of what you see here. These are just some of all my pots. I collected fall leaves from the trees on my block and in the fall, but I didn't get around to shredding them, so I just threw them on all the beds unshredded, which I know is not the best because some of the things like the garlic, for example, I had a little harder time pushing through it, and that probably delayed it or stunted it a little bit, I'm imagining, possibly, as we'll see in a second. But I did get around to finally mulching it recently, so that's what all this is. This is all shredded leaves. It's not perfect, but it was just ran over it with the lawnmower to use it as a mulch. It won't last all season, I don't think, but that's what I got. Here are some onions. I had started onions inside, but they weren't looking so hot inside to buy seed by myself, and they were looking so hot, so I was worried they weren't going to make it, so I went ahead and ordered some starts from Burpee. These are Walla Walla starts. They came recently. I had them out here. It still was getting below freezing overnight, so I threw my little polytunnel over top of them, but they're supposedly, I know they're hardy. Onions are hardy. I'm not an onion expert, but I had never planted them before, so I wasn't sure how they do. But as you see, they're running around in my critter cages. I have a lot of problems with cats and especially squirrels in the area, and they tend to dig up things, so that's why I have these things. I got these off of Amazon. They even have lids. Some of them don't have tops, which the squirrels just crawl over. So I got these ones. I need to get more of them, but just financial reasons I haven't done that yet. But they're looking, they don't look like they're dying. I mean, they're not growing much yet, but it's still been cooler, so I didn't expect that yet until it really starts to warm up. This area, sorry for the shoddy camera work here. It's usually my back and my knee today, so kind of a little off balance. Getting a little older, walking around in slippers here in the garden. This area here is going to be leeks. So we're going to have onions here, Walla Walla onions here, and then leeks this whole area here. I kind of like the holes here are things I just kind of dibbered in some holes just to see the spacing, to see how many I would get in there. I was going to end here, and you see as the soil changes here, because I was just working this, kind of mixing this up, tilling it up a little bit. This area here, was really just kind of just the 1.5 feet here from the edge there to over a little bit that was empty. I used it as a walking space, but I'm losing some of my garden space this year, so I'm reclaiming this to use instead. So this whole area here also, I think I'm also going to make this whole area leeks. From over there, for where the onions end, over here, because I have those growing inside that I started myself, and they're looking like they're pretty good still. They're growing along well. I can show you those later when I get you my indoor video. I'll do an indoor start video as well. So I think I was gonna maybe put something else here and just have 3 things here: the onions, leeks, and then something else. But I think I might just do more leeks because I have like 50 of them, 50 seedlings or so. 45, 50, something like that. So I think I might just do leeks here as well, since I've never done them before. I want to make sure I do more of them because I don't know how successful I'll be. some more. This is garlic here. And you see the anti-squirrel measures just down there. So they hopefully stop digging. I get lazy. I know I could do probably do landscape fabric and poke holes in it for the plants and all, but I get lazy and I just throw stuff on there. This area here, under this whole area used to be compost. Used to be just an in-ground compost bin area. But then a few years ago, my wife got me a tumbler. I figured, that'd be perfect, and I can reclaim this space and actually use this space for gardening. And so now I never got around to composting as much as I should, or you really need to get hot compost and stuff. So I figure, that'll be good. I'll be able to use compost on the patio area, and then use this whole space for gardening. That's why the garlic's here. And then back here in this corner, just used to be kind of like a little walking area. I don't know why when I made the bed, I just stopped there and then left this area empty. But I tilled this up, got some better soil on there, and I'll be mulching that as well. And right now, I just put some turnips in there. I figured something, because eventually, once the garlic is done, I'll throw beans in here, just some bush beans. And normally I don't do things like turnips and radishes until the fall. Just my gardening style and planning. I don't do them as spring crops. I usually do like radishes and turnips and all that stuff as a fall crop. But I figured, because usually I don't do them in the spring because I have limited space, and by the time I want to start things that'll grow all summer before the turnips and stuff are ready. So I don't usually normally have spots for them until the fall, because in the fall, that's all I do is fall crops, you know what I mean? So this right here is just I think it's a silky sweet turnip is what it's called. There's only I guess I only have room for, I don't know, 6 or so there. I don't know, I'm not sure. But that's just turnips right now. I think I might keep them there. I just sowed those last night. Going over here, that's some soy. I'll explain why that is there in a minute. And this area here is going to be ground cherries. I'd never grown them before, but I'm going to try those. I have just those started. I have some. They just germinated a couple days ago, and they're still tiny. You'll see them in the indoor video if I do that later. Here are walking onions, Egyptian walking onions. I'd seen them online. Some of my the YouTube gardeners that I watch, like Greg Otten from Maritime Gardening, has grown them, and this look interesting. You know, these being perennial. I know they're a lot of work to process to use for food, but I figure it's something that's perennial. I'm trying to get, as I get older, get more perennial crops and less stuff to keep replanting every year. I can just go out and maintain. It'd be easier for me. As of my issues with my back and stuff, so it'd be easier. I'm trying to get some more things that are more perennial and less maintenance, like garlic, for example. Just throw that in the fall, and then winter, and don't even have to water it that much. Just the mulch. So I'm trying to get into better with mulching and no digging. But yeah, these are the Egyptian walking onions, as you see. They'll come up. From what I hear, they are, and they did. They came up. One of the first things to come up. They came up really early. I have, I think, 8 or so here. I think I may order some more, because I want to use this whole area here. See under there where that old thing is. It's just mulch in there. That's all it's in there. But right now, I think I have 8 of them here, 7 or 8 of them. See over here, and over here. But then this area here, I have empty, and I think I might try to get some more walking onions and then have that all on this side. This bed here is going to be parsnips or carrots, and then parsnips or carrots. I can't decide which one's going where. I don't know if it really matters, but again, under the critter cages. And then the area in the middle, I may add another bed there, or I may just keep it as a walking area so I can get in here and weed if necessary, or get in here with the hose if it needs, even if the mulch hasn't been enough and I need to water. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, all this stuff on there is anti-cat measures. We have raccoons around here, possums. The biggest issue would probably be squirrels, and my neighbor has a lot of cats, so that she lets outside, so they get in and do their business in there. So I'm trying to keep them out. All right. as we move over this way, what did I miss over here? Oh, this here. As I said, my neighbor is moving. She's been, for the past few years, she's been letting me use her backyard to garden since they don't really use their yard. That area on the other side of the fence right down there, I had sunchokes there last year. I've done potato, and then over there, farther over, I won't go over there now. Don't really need to be close, but over there, and then kind of like the L shape over here in that corner, I done potatoes there, and I was going to do a bushy, smaller vining type of a pumpkin this year, but they're moving, so I don't know if the new people, whenever they move in, would let me use their yard or not. So I am taking all my stuff back from over here. I dug up the sunchokes that I had planted here, and that's where but I had amended the soil here, and I don't want to leave that over there. So I dug it up, put it into a trash can for now, and I'm going to use that soil to fill in this area here. Yeah, because that's good soil that I've amended over the years, and I don't want to, as opposed to the hard clay that's over there or that used to be here. I've somewhat amended this bed because I used to grow potatoes here, and then it is pretty decent soil, but it's a little bit unlevel here. I need to fill it in a little bit. There's a little bit of a dip there from over here where it's dry. This whole area needs some of the soil, so for a while, it's perfect. I'll use that soil that used to be there and put it in here. And one of the sunchokes that used to be over there, I put in this pot. So I'm going to try it in the pot here. Yeah, so, and then I'd say, I'll get to the point. I wasn't going to use that pot for potatoes, which are, here, again, anti-critter measures, just from the dollar store laundry tubs. This is red Pontiac potatoes. I think there's 8 of them in there I got space for. I know I probably could have done all 10 of them in here that I got pretty easily, but I wanted to save some for to put in a pot, just because I like to have a diverse kind of crop area, so this area, whatever, would get messed up for some reason, like the utility company would come out and put their ladder in here and destroy all the plants, or something like that, then at least I have potatoes somewhere else. And that's one of the things I really like to have is potatoes, so that's there. Yeah, so there's 8 red Pontiacs here, and I have a big pot that I'm going to put 2 more of them. And in that area, that is one of the sunchokes in there that I'm going to try in a pot this year as well, since I'm losing the sunchokes from over there. I have sunchokes in the front yard, but I'll get that to in a minute. And this area here is going to be sweet potatoes, and then this side over here is going to be edamame and possibly bush beans, since they, for some reason, they tend to do well in the shade behind this fence. Neighbors a couple years ago put this fence up because they had a dog. So this area over here, I have to do things that do better in shade, and the edamame seem to do just fine over there. I'm sure they would do much better with more sun, but that's enough that I can grow them. So I've been doing edamame and beans over here. That's a pile of some of the shredded leaves that I didn't have space for over there in the corner there. Some random pots there, and this is some logs and Christmas tree and things that have fallen, sunchoke stalks. So I'm going to use that to bury those, and I had been using them in the neighbor's yard as borders, for some raised beds. But now that they're moving, I'm taking them back, and figure I can bury them somewhere, add them as a kind of like a hugelkultur kind of mound somewhere, maybe someday over the summer or the fall, or something. But I don't want to just leave them over there, so I'll make use of them somehow. Here's some shredded leaves, some of the last of the shredded leaves leaves that I haven't shredded yet. That's all this is. I'll be doing that today, hopefully. Shred those, mulch them up, find somewhere to put them. I think that is all from the backyard, and now we can go to the front yard. That's my new hose. There's the soil I'm going to use to fill that area over there to put leeks in, and then we'll go to the front yard. I always forget what this is. If anyone knows what this is, I planted it with some kind of bulb, I think, and it grows these little berries that grow up in this little stalk that goes up maybe like, I don't know, 6-7 inches in the air, and then with these red berries on it. If anyone knows what this might be. This area here is open. I did have rose campion growing here last year, but I don't know if they'll come back. I don't see any signs of them. This here is my purple coneflower. Let me take this off, you can see that a little better. The purple coneflower. I know it's not really sunny yet, so the lighting isn't the best, but as you see, that's coming back. Oh, there's a weed there as well. But you can see the little purple shoots there. I started that purple coneflower from seed last year at Echinacea. And most of the literature I read online, and the sources online, people were saying that it would not bloom its first year, but it did. It was only 4 or 5 flowers, 5 or 6, something like that. It wasn't huge, but it did bloom. So that was interesting, and that was a good thing. Back here, these 3 stalks, I don't know if you can see them, like I said, with the lack of sun, but there's this area right here. You can kind of see me in focus, maybe. There were 3 black and blue salvias that my brother had grown. He also gardens, and he had given them to me last year, and they bloomed their first year. I got them in June, around I think it was around Father's Day, as transplants, and I got them in the ground, and they bloomed. And so we'll see if they come back. They've been mulched all winter, so we'll see. This, I can't remember what this was. It was something I got at the clearance rack at Walmart at some point middle of the summer in July or something. I planted it. It wasn't the healthiest looking. I don't think it's alive. It doesn't look like it's very much alive, but I'll let it warm up, and if it doesn't seem like anything's growing there come May or June, if I see no signs of life, I'll rip it out and try something else here. I was thinking of maybe this area over here trying some sweet pea. I have a couple seeds that I've gotten over the years I never bothered getting around to. Like I have sweet pea, I think. I may have lupine, foxglove. I have a couple random seeds that I've never grown before. I don't know much about, but I may just direct sow those here and just see what happens. This is now going to be my main sunchoke bed. Not the sunniest spot, since these roses here, that I'll get to a story about those in a second, gotten so big, kind of blocked the sun from back here, but they did just fine last year. And I actually cut the roses back a little bit, so I imagine they should do fine. Isn't the greatest soil. I tried to amend it somewhat, and it's been mulched all winter, and it'll be mulched again this year. But I got a pretty decent amount of sunchokes. There's I think 5 sunchokes in there, and I got about 30 pounds. I grew a total, I think it was 8 or 9 sunchokes last year from here and in neighbor's yard, and I got a total of like over 65 pounds. So they did phenomenal, the sunchokes. This here, these 2, there's actually 2 of them here. These are knockout roses that I grew from cuttings that I got from plants that I planted 20 years ago. From cuttings, and these are knockout roses I planted in my garden here. So yeah. Lavender, that's about 6 years old, 5-6 years old. I did not start this myself. I have done lavender myself, but it is actually one that I had bought as a start from a garden center somewhere. It's getting a little woody. I'm not the greatest at maintaining it and keeping it pruned back and stuff, but it's coming back every year. I make lavender lemonade from it. Alright, nothing. I'm trying to figure out what to do with this area. This is a slope going down my front steps here, and I can never really get much going here. It needs fixed up, and I need to figure out what I want to put in there, if anything, or if I just want to put it back to grass, and then I can reclaim that border, all those border, the plastic border things there, or I want to try something in there. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. This is mountain mint that my brother gave me last year as well, when he gave me the salvias. And it's coming back. Oh, this here is some dianthus. I had 4. I had each one of them. I had one up there, one in the corner over there, and then one in the corner down there. But this is the only one that seems to be surviving. And this area all along here is garlic. The row on the right here, the soil under there had been amended very well, and but in prior years it had only been one row. I did a quick kind of burying some of the sunchoke stalks and some quick amending of the soil on the left here, the second row, but it's not as amended as well, so it's probably going to take a couple years of mulching to get the left half of this garlic bed better. But you see the second row of garlic I planted there are coming up. You can see they are, for whatever reason, half the size of the other ones, but I will get something from them. So, you know, and then like this year and next year, the soil under there should get only better as I keep this mulched. But yeah, this is music garlic and Mettagee garlic. But like I always do, I try to plan to remember what is what. I think the first one on the left here is the Mettagee, and then I did it every other one, so it'd be Mettagee and then music, Mettagee, music, so on. But I'm not positive, but we'll see what happens. And then I have a second row of them going up all along here, and they're looking nice. And here are some of the other. I figured this second area here is totally like unamended. I just dug up a little bit. I buried a few the sunchoke stalks in there and threw some bag garden soil on top, but I didn't really dig down a foot or foot and a half like I usually like to. Just with my back was hard. I figured, I'll just, I wasn't even going to do this year, expand and add this third row of things in here, or fourth row, whatever you want to say, since I have two of the garlic. But I figured, I'll just do a quick amending. I know the soil here probably isn't the greatest yet. It hasn't been amended, hasn't been mulched at all for just a month now. But I figured, I'll throw some of the onions in there. In the second half, I'll throw some of the leeks, or maybe, I don't know, something else different over here that I've never grown before in that area over there. Even, maybe something like radishes I can throw in there, something, a daikon or something that'll dig down and kind of till the soil for me a little bit. And as those sunchoke stalks and twigs and stuff break down, the soil under there will get a little better. Maybe in the fall I'll be able to dig it up and till it a little bit better to loosen it up. But I figure it can't hurt, right? Even it's not the greatest soil, something may be able to grow in there. But yeah. I think that might be the end of the video. I can just quick note, I trying to figure out what I'm going to throw in here after the garlic's done. Last year I put flowers in here, like marigolds, just to look it pretty for the summer, since the garlic is usually done by the end of June-ish. And that's still plenty of time to grow another crop. I may try throwing in some beans in here, or more edamame. I'm not exactly sure. Or something like beets. I don't know. If you have any suggestions of something I can plant, because like I said, these will probably come out the end of June, early July probably at the latest. So I may try something else in there. Obviously the onions would be in there, I guess, most of the season, but this first row, which is much better soil, any suggestions, some that I could try, I'll put them in there and see how they go. Alright, I guess that's it for now. Yeah, and you see the progress. I know a lot of things are still a mess. I have this bag here that had some old potatoes in it that have got extremely leggy eyes, and I'll probably just throw those in the compost, since I have no room to plant them anyways. And like I said, I know a lot of stuff is messy everywhere, but as you see each week, things should get cleaner and cleaner and neater and neater. Alright, that's it. I'll hopefully do my seedling video a little bit later on. Alright, be back. Enjoy.